The Lies of Locke Lamora is a 2006 fantasy novel by Scott Lynch, the first book of the Gentleman Bastard series. Elite con artists calling themselves the Gentleman Bastards rob the rich of the city of Camorr, based on late medieval Venice but on an unnamed planet. Two stories interweave. In the present, the Gentleman Bastards fight a mysterious Grey King taking over the criminal underworld. Alternate chapters describe the history of Camorr and the Gentleman Bastards, in particular protagonist Locke Lamora. Plot summary: the Gentleman Bastards are masters of deception, disguise and fine cuisine. Further chains: their Garista is a priest of the Crooked Warden, the god of thieves. He buys troublesome 6-year-old Locke for his gang. Through a series of confidence tricks on the rich, they defy the secret peace, an unspoken agreement between the criminal underground and the Duke unregistered trademark government which allows for the existence of organized crime with the understanding that the peerage and the servants of justice are off limits. After Chain's death, Locke becomes Garista of the group, consisting of Jean Tannen, an expert fighter, Carlo and Gordo Sansa, jack-of-all-trades identical twins, and Bug, a young apprentice. Their wayward female associate Sabitha is mentioned, but resides elsewhere during the events of the novel. The criminal underworld of Camorr is ruled with an iron fist by the Capo Barsavi, who collects a commission on all criminal activity under his purview in the form of taxes. Under Locke's leadership, the Gentleman Bastards are known as a small gang of gentrified but petty thieves and pickpockets, and their taxes, though regularly paid, are relatively small. Secretly, the Bastards have actually been using elaborate schemes to swindle various nobles out of large sums, and have amassed a considerable fortune. They purchase the trinkets they pass on to Barsavi as tribute, in accordance with their small-time reputation. What little is spoken of their operations is credited to the shadowy Thorn of Camorr. Locke pretends to be Lucas Fu White, a merchant from Emberlin, to con Don Lorenzo Salva and his wife. Meanwhile, a mysterious criminal calling himself the Grey King has been killing Barsavi's most trusted Garistas. Fearing for his safety, Barsavi has sequestered himself in his ship fortress, the Floating Grave. Locke finds himself face to face with the Grey King and his hired bondsmith the Falconer, who somehow know what the Gentleman Bastards have been up to. Locke agrees to impersonate the Grey King in an arranged meeting with Barsavi in exchange for the Grey King's silence, as well as the bondsmith's magical protection from Barsavi's wrath during the meeting. The Grey King murders Barsavi's daughter Nazar and delivers her body to the Capo in a barrel. Locke is forced to continue with the plan, even though he knows that now Barsavi will never negotiate. At the meeting, Barsavi manages to circumvent a disguised Locke's magical protection, having him severely beaten and left to drown in a barrel. Jean and Bug save him, but they realize that the Grey King has double-crossed them. They return to their secret lair and find their wealth stolen and the Sansa twins brutally murdered. An intruder kills Bug and nearly Jean and Locke, who swear revenge. Locke goes to the Floating Grave in disguise, where Barsavi thinking the Grey King is dead is celebrating. Suddenly two of Barsavi's trusted bodyguards, the fierce Baringa's sisters, turn on him and cut him down, followed by his two sons. The Grey King appears, introduces himself as Capo Reza and claims Barsavi's empire as his own. Left without resources and needing funds to somehow strike back at Reza, Locke tries to complete the con against the Salvas. Meanwhile, Jean investigates the after-dark activity of Reza's minions and realizes that the new Capo is secretly loading his newfound wealth onto a ship supposedly quarantined for plague. Before Jean can tell Locke, he is ambushed by the Baringa's sisters. He manages to kill both, but is seriously wounded himself. The Duke's spider, Camorr's secret spy master who is actually the elderly Do plus or minus of Orchansa, has learned that the Salvas are being conned and rightly attributes it to the mysterious Thorn of Camorr. She and the Salvas lure Locke to the Duke's annual celebration, and he barely escapes. Returning to their hideout, Locke finds Jean incapacitated by the bondsmith's sorcery, which relies on the use of Jean's true name. Locke, whose real name is not known, overpowers the Falconer and tortures him for information. Wary of revenge by other bondsmiths should he be killed, Jean and Locke remove his fingers and tongue so he cannot gesture or speak spells, leaving him alive but insane. Reza has planned his revenge against Barsavi and the nobles of Camorr since childhood, when his parents were murdered as collateral damage from the secret peace. To destroy the piers, he gives the Duke of Camorr 4 sculptures, actually time bombs filled with a substance that will cause all of the nobles and their children present at the celebration to slide into permanent moronic lifelessness. Locke races back to the tower from which he escaped and manages to convince Vorchinza and the Salvers of the danger, and the devices are defused. He next coerces the Spider to set him free to kill Reza, and not put him on trial for theft as a reward for saving their lives. Vorchinza agrees when Locke has shared the location of the stolen money. He tells her that Reza has hidden his treasure on a waste barge, and instructs her to destroy the plague ship and its crew before Reza can use it to infect the city. Locke faces Reza in mortal combat even though he is outmatched by the Carper's skills with a sword, and is nearly killed before managing to distract Reza for the split second he needs to finally slay him. When no treasure is found on the barge, Vorchinza realizes that the Thorn tricked her into destroying the ship filled with Reza's fortune, which is now an offering to the goddess of death for Locke's murdered friends. Later, Jean and Locke both recovering from their injuries sail away to a new life. Film adaptation: Warner Brothers bought the film rights soon after the book's release in 2006. The brothers Kevin and Dan Hageman were to write the screenplay, with Michael DeLuca and Julie Yorn to produce. References. External links: Scott Lynch's website, pen and paper listing, interview with Scott Lynch by Alison Bone for the bookseller, April 10, 2006. Interview with Scott Lynch by Pat's Fantasy Hotlist, June 21, 2006. Video interview with Scott Lynch on YouTube, July 21, 2006. Interview with Scott Lynch by elbikine.net, August 7, 2006. Interview with Scott Lynch by Catherine Stubbs for Sentient Online, September 21, 2009. Reviews Review by J.K. Pelletier FantasyBookNews.com, December 2008. Review by J. Prakash and KVLTSITE.com, August 2007. Review by C. M. Morrison Strange Horizon, June 26, 2006. Review by John Berlin SFREVU, June 2006. Review by Sherwood Smith The SF Site, 2006. Review by Pat's Fantasy Hotlist May 29, 2006. Review by Sue Griffiths Fiction Reviews, 2006. Review by Dylan Skerpitz Twin Cities Daily Planet, September 5, 2006. Review by Williams Lechner Reviews of Speculative Fiction for the Fan and Collector, July 2, 2006. Review by Violet Kane Alternative Reality Weekzine, 2006. Review by Elia Popov February 6, 2006. Review by Martin Jenner August 1, 2006 ComputerCrossnist.com. Review by Paul Rachek May 5, 2008.